All right, guys, we're talking about the house of La Persona today. Have you discovered this house yet? They're a South Korean house, and I discovered them a few years ago, I think. And last year, they launched a fragrance called Whispering Kiss, which has been fairly popular for the house. I enjoyed quite a bit. In fact, if you have been picking up our Scent Club kits, we recently featured Whispering Kiss in a Scent Club kit. As you can see, it's the third fragrance here on the image there. And so, yeah, Whispering Kiss was featured here in our Scent Club kit, but today I'm doing an overview of the entire house. We've got a total of 7 fragrances. I believe the brand launched initially 4 fragrances, and then they launched 3 others. And I think since Whispering Kiss has launched, the brand's getting some attention and some popularity as well. And most importantly, recently they started selling the fragrances at Lucky Scent, and then now ZGO locally in San Francisco also sells the fragrances. So I'll have the fragrances tagged to ZGO. So if you're in the market to pick these fragrances up, you can via our YouTube shopping tagging. But also, if you came to ScentFest SF recently, the brand did present their fragrances there, so you probably got a chance to smell the fragrances. But we've got an initial collection that have numberings like LPO1, LPO2, LPO3, and LPO4. And those also have additional names, and I'll tell you what those are. So basically, I'll go through them in order like that. And then the brand launched 3 additional fragrances. Most recently, it's been Salty Skin, which I've also been featuring in some of my videos lately. I really love this one. It's marine, aquatic, and salty and minerally, but very much a skin scent. And I'll tell you why I enjoy that. But I think the brand's pretty much known for Whispering Kiss, the fragrance that we have featured in our latest Scent Club kit. So if you've discovered the brand, let us know. Add a comment below. Let's get started with the list of fragrances. We're going to go with LPO1 first. This is Mystic Rose. And the color of this label kind of gives you the idea. It's kind of a rosy, kind of a red ambery kind of a color. So I think you kind of get an idea or a visual of the note that you're going to pick up. But I feel like the color displays something a bit more intense. And even though I think the fragrance gets there after the dry down, it's very fresh and dewy kind of rose floral start to the fragrance. So LPO1, Mystic Rose, features notes of white peony, centifolia rose, black pepper, jasmine, golden amber, black tea, vanilla, cedarwood, incense, musk, and patchouli. It's super gorgeous, dewy bouquet of flowers. Most importantly, a big bouquet of rose and the addition of the peony that's in here, and then also jasmine as well. What I like about this one, it's very fresh and dewy, as I said. It acts like a spring bouquet, super fresh, nice on the green side, as I said, but rose prominent and very stemmy. Like the stemmy quality of the rose is really, really prominent. If you've actually gone to a rose bush and smelled it, you can kind of smell the green stems as well as the flower itself. But here you've got a little bit of a contrast with the peppery notes of the black pepper. So you've got that mixed nicely, beautifully. It doesn't come off too sharp, but it's there. It's pretty standout, and it's a nice contrast to that beautiful, gorgeous floral bouquet that leans kind of green. Also a little bit creamy as well, because I feel like I pick up some creaminess from the peony note and the jasmine as well. This eventually gets deeper at the dry down, but for me, most of the fragrances lifetime is are the flowers themselves, but eventually it kind of gets woody, spicy, earthy, musky, lightly smoky. Those all come in, but for me it's mostly about the big bouquet of flowers. Most importantly, the rose. It's called Mystic Rose. You're having a rose experience, and it's a gorgeous rose. Maybe a bit feminine leaning, but to me, I've got no problem wearing rose. I enjoy the smell of roses. And this is a super fresh start and lightly deeper as it develops on skin. Very pretty fragrance. I could see somebody, like a woman, wearing this on her wedding day. It's got that kind of a quality for it. It starts off fresh and angelic and then gets deeper and deeper as the day goes on, as the activities kind of progress for a wedding or something like that. So it's a beautiful rose. Check it out. It's created by 3 Firmenich perfumers. And they are Frank Vogel, Emily Bevier-Copperman, and Alan Allion. And the first 4 fragrances are created by these 3 perfumers. And I think the 3 remaining after that are also Firmenich perfumers. but they're different ones. So I will tell you who they are once we get to those fragrances. So that is LPO1 Mystic Rose, as I said. Let's go to the LPO2 next. This is Peacock Feather. Who's checked this fragrance out? Let me know, add a comment below. But once again, this is Frank Volkel, Emily Bevier Copperman, Alan Allion. It makes kind of sense that the brand works with one fragrance house, and I don't know if this is on purpose, but every single perfumer is, I believe, Firmenich perfumer. So again, Frank Volkel, Emily Bevier Copperman, and Alan Allion are the perfumers here. And we've got for notes lime, bergamot, lemon, lavender, white flowers, jasmine, coconut, patchouli, and amber. This is almost like a pina colada, but without the pineapple, it's more made with citruses. So the coconut in here is super creamy and it adds a powdery layer to the fragrance, but the citruses are super duper intense. And I feel like they've got the lime, bergamot, and lemon here. Sometimes those go astringent and sour and tart. The coconut is the nice balancing act here. It balances out the fragrance, and it cuts away from its tartness, the astringency, and things like that. But in the end, it's still a lot of citruses, a lot of juicy citruses here against the coconut. But along the way, you've got light floral notes. You've got a little bit of aromatic touch from lavender as well. And eventually it becomes kind of ambery and earthy. But between the two fragrances, I feel like this one has substance. Again, I feel like this is sort of like a pina colada experience, but not utilizing the pineapple, because for me, pineapple is one of my favorite fruits. It has tartness. This is with the type of pineapple I like to consume, and so I'm kind of like replacing the pineapple with the tart citruses that are in here. So it's giving me that kind of an effect. So if you like the idea of a pina colada type of a cocktail, because I do get a bit of a cocktail-like experience with this, there is something sort of boozy happening because I think there is an overdose of citruses in this. But it's super delicious. It's fresh, slightly beachy, but creamy, coconutty, and powdery at the same time. And eventually, as I said, it gets ambery and earthy, woody in the dry down. So between the two, it's my favorite. This is Peacock Feather from the House of Le Persona. This is LPO2, and that's the second fragrance we're talking about today from Le Persona. Let me know if you've already sampled these fragrances. Add a comment below. All right, next up, we're going to LPO3. This is Wooden Face. Once again, same three perfumers, Frank Volkel, Emily Bevier Copperman, and Alan Allion. I'm very familiar with Frank Volkel. I'm also familiar with Emily Bevier Copperman, but I don't know who Alan Allion is. I've never heard of this perfumer before up until today. But Frank Volkel has done fragrances for Le Labo and Fleur and so many brands. And Emily's name comes up quite a bit as well, but I'd like to find out a little bit more about Alan Allion. So we'll see who that is, but Wooden Face features notes of green tea, cardamom, orange, fig, sweet pea, jasmine, musk, sandalwood, and cashmere wood. Unfortunately, this is my least favorite fragrance in the collection, and if you've already sampled this, you probably know why. And I should like this because it is fig. I do enjoy fig quite a bit. There is something coconutty happening, but it's too much of a reminder of something like Le Labo that I'm not a fan of this one, unfortunately. But it does have green touches. It's got lots of woods and spices in here as well. And I think it's the sandalwood mixed with the figs that's giving you this kind of a Santal 33-like effect. That's not one of my favorite fragrances, but in the end, it's spicy, it's woody, it's creamy, it's powdery, and it's green at the same time. I think it's definitely on the green side. I would say this is fig, but it's not super fruity. We're dealing with the greenness of the fig rather than the fruity side. But I think that's what my nose is picking up. Maybe for you, it might pick up the fruits, but not quite for me. It's more green woods, spices, creamy, woody. Let me know your thoughts. Are you familiar with this one? LPO3, Wooden Face? Add a comment below. Let's move on to the next one. This is Golden Gem. So Golden Gem is LPO4. Once again, it's Frank Volkel, Emily Bevier Copperman, and Alan Allion. Notes are bergamot, cardamom oil, Guatemala rose, cedarwood, vanilla, fire, gaiac wood, vetiver, patchouli. So things are getting warmer and spicier with this fragrance. And I feel like this might have been the start of, I don't know, there's something similar and not so similar between LPO4 Golden Gem and Whispering Kiss. Between the two, I much prefer Whispering Kiss, but I feel like there's something similar happening here without using or utilizing the same kind of notes. It's warm, it's very spicy, it's ambery, and also a little bit fiery, smoky as well. But vanillic and ambery notes are prominent. The patchouli is also prominent here, and those are kind of running the show. It's almost like there's a fire, and it's not gotten super smoky, but there's light traces of smoke there. And something sweet and vanillic and molassesy syrupy is happening on a stovetop maybe, or just roasting or something sweet being roasted. I would say there's something slightly nutty happening here without, being so distinct as well. But beneath it all, it's all super creamy. And I think this also kind of leans gourmandesque. To me, the idea of By the Fireplace by Maison Margiela kind of seems similar to this as well. But this to me seems a bit deeper, not so light like the Maison Margiela By the Fireplace, which is an eau de toilette. Compared to this is an eau de parfum. But this is quite enjoyable here for me between all of the fragrances. I love LPO2 and then LPO4, then followed by LPO1 and then LPO3, as you would have guessed. But this one's really quite nice. To me, it's kind of like in between By the Fireplace and their own Whispering Kiss, as I said. So that is LPO4 Golden Gem. The reference I'm using for By the Fireplace, it's giving me that idea and sort of smell, but I am picking up something nutty, but it's not a super distinct nuttiness. Just like the By the Fireplace as well, where it's chestnuts and it does act a little bit nutty, but not your typical nutty note like almonds or hazelnuts or something like that. Anyway, let's move on to the next three. All right, next we've got Masquerade Ball. This is Scene 1 Masquerade Ball. And this one, to me, is super fresh. And it's created by Steve Guo, but I should say it's super fresh and also very aromatic leaning green. It features notes of bergamot, cardamom, pineapple, geranium, muguet, cedarwood, musk, patchouli, and vetiver. I would say this also leans on the masculine side. And to me, it's almost like you're taking the idea of Aventus, the idea of Tigar, with the idea of something very aromatic and spicy and mixing it together. So it's very fresh. It's got a zingy spiciness to it, and you've got lightly fruity tartness from the pineapple, and you have, aromatic touches in there as well. So it leans green, it's aromatic herbal. There's also a lot of earthy notes in here, earthy woods. So it's all these different like masculine style, modern masculine style fragrances mixed together to create something really awesome. I think this fragrance is perfect for somebody that wants a fragrance that they can wear day in and day out without having to think about other fragrances, but it's something that you can wear and you like the smell of it, and it's a crowd pleaser. People like the way you smell because it does in the end smell great. So it has the citruses, it's juicy, it's tart, it's zingy, it's fruity, it's a spicy aromatic, and then of course it's woody and floral at the same time. It's a really, really great scent, but to me it's easy to wear. I wouldn't say this is super complex or super out there, and the fact that it reminds me of those fragrances I mentioned gives it a little bit of a comforting vibe where you don't have to think twice about it. You just wear something really great, you smell great, and people love the way you smell. So that's Masquerade Ball. All right, we're moving on to Scene 3 next. I don't know where Scene 2 is, but it's not on the Le Persona website. So they might have skipped Scene 2. But Scene 3 is Whispering Kiss. I think this is pretty much the fragrance that put the brand on the map. It makes sense. It's also really super awesome, really great to wear. It smells great. I like the warm spices, the booziness on skin, and the uniqueness of the red bean note that's in here. And there's also something sweet and salty, savory, sweet, salty thing happening in this, which, gives you the idea of a gourmand, but also the saltiness kind of crosses it out. So it's a very, very unique offering for me. It's great enough to be featured in one of our Scent Club kits, as I said. But what's going on with this one and who created it. So this is Elias Hermanides, another Firmenich perfumer. And the notes break down. We've got immortelle, pepper, cardamom, ginger, cognac, red beans, rum, sage, amber, vanilla, patchouli, and vetiver. So I'm not sure where they're getting that kind of saltiness from this. Is it from the red beans? Maybe kind of umami. Is it from the immortelle? Immortelle adds a caramelly brown sugary effect in fragrances, sometimes curry, sometimes grassy, very autumnal, autumn-like. But again, this is super duper spicy. Fresh spices, for me, cardamom, ginger, pepper are very fresh spicy. And then Immortelle also has its own unique spice, but again, it's very grassy, sometimes caramelly, brown sugary up top. And then all of a sudden the booze kind of takes over. It's the cognac and the rum together, and then that red beans kind of texture, it just appears out of nowhere, and its unique characteristic smell kind of show their face as well. And you're kind of caught off guard for the first time, maybe a few times, and then you kind of like get used to it, and it actually smells great mixed in together with the boozy notes and the spices. And then of course what comes after are some aromatic touches of the sage, so it gets a little bit herbal, but not too much, not for me. And then eventually it's vanillic and it's patchouli and vetiver also, so it's quite woody and earthy here. But I think it's a really gorgeous fragrance. I love wearing it. I've worn quite a bit of it. It smells great. People do mention what I'm wearing because it smells really awesome, and I overspray anyway because I love the way it smells. When I really love a fragrance, I tend to overdo it. I mean, it's just something that I enjoy when I'm really into a fragrance. I overdo it sometimes, but in the end, I don't think this is super duper intensely loud, so I like to pile it on. But it does smell wonderful, and I do get the experience of that kind of sweet, gourmand, salty, kind of savory kind of thing happening, and that's what makes this really truly original, with the contrast of the fresh spices and the boozy notes and that red bean. So if you haven't tried this one, please check it out. I highly recommend it. It smells fantastic, by the way. I really love it and definitely deserves the attention. And then lastly, we've got Scene 4, and it's Salty Skin. Completely different than what we've been talking about. This one's super duper skin scent. If you don't like skin scent, this one might not be it for you. If you love skin scents and you like minerally salty marine style fragrances, this is so good. It's really, really great. It's interesting. I know people that are into super strong fragrances or super light fragrances. I kind of enjoy and appreciate all varieties of fragrances, and watching me recommend really intense fragrances, you might think I might not be into the skin scents, but I really find enjoyment in the subtleties of fragrances. I learned to do that after Molecule 1 from Eccentric Molecules, which I was completely anosmic to at first. Once my palate opened up and I could smell it, because I was anosmic to it for a good 7 times wearing that fragrance. Once you can smell that fragrance and you start learning to appreciate skin scents, and that's kind of what I like about this one. It's salty, it's marine, it's mineral, it's aromatic, it's lightly floral, and to me, it's awesome. So this one's created by Frank Volkel, one of the perfumers from the first 4 fragrances, and again, he's a very well-known Firmenich perfumer, and I think he did a great job. Even though this is a skin scent, it's a marine skin scent. And I think it's a kind of a trendy style nowadays, but it features notes of bergamot, caviar, juniper berries, neroli, jasmine sambac, orchid, ambrox super, oak moss, and musk. But yeah, this is something my sister would really enjoy because she's a nurse. She doesn't wear strong fragrances. And I've given her a lot of different skin scent type fragrances that she enjoys. I'm not saying this is as minimalistic as something like Molecule 1, but it took something like Molecule 1 because it's so minimalistic, or even Molecule 2, or Not a Perfume by Juliet Has a Gun. Those fragrances, people say they can't smell anything. It's like just smelling alcohol. It takes appreciation of those kind of fragrances to appreciate fragrances like this. And to me, it's It's a fragrance that if you are around sensitive people, you might wear fragrances like this. And again, it's very lightly musky, salty, minerally, a little marine. And then beneath it all, there's also some light flowers and spicy aromatic notes as well. It's really nicely done and definitely enjoyable. The other good thing about this one, I've already tested it out for a fragrance to layer other fragrances. So if I want to layer it with something citrusy, because there is bergamot here, it brings out the bergamot kind of brings it out and makes it more citrusy. There's also the neroli in this as well. Or if you want to do something more marine, something lighter like that, and you can boost it up. So I think it's the kind of fragrance that you can layer easily with is what I'm trying to say. But a great scent, Salty Skin from the House of La Persona. That is the last fragrance I'm talking about here. So we've spoken about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fragrances, and 7 pretty decent fragrances, with some being really awesome. I'm going to tell you my quick ranking here. My number 1, of course, is Whispering Kiss. Really love that one. I would say my number 2 is LPO2. I would say my number 3 is Masquerade Ball, even though I felt like it was pretty mass appealing. Then my number 4 is Salty Skin, and my number 5 is LPO4. I'll do the whole ranking for you guys, followed by LPO1, and then of course LPO3. That's the full ranking. But if you haven't tried Whispering Kiss yet, please do. It's such a great scent. I love it. Totally recommend it. And again, it is in the latest Scent Club kit. But let me know your thoughts on Le Persona. What are your thoughts? Do you like the brand? Have you sampled them? Did you discover them at Scentfest SF? Did you discover them at Scent Club? Do add a comment. And if you've sampled the fragrances, what are your favorites from the house? Do add a comment below. But thanks so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions or comments, please do list below. Like the video, please share it, interact, add comments, and things like that. Interact with the video is what I'm trying to say. That helps with the algorithm. And also, please, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, click the subscribe button and also the bell icon so you'll be notified for future videos. See you guys later. Bye-bye.